Hey, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Paul,
And I'm Patrick.
and today we're going to be talking about action movies that give off the same energy as the Expendables. With the Expendables 4 coming out this week, which is we thought we'd do a list of essentially movies that really touch on that energy that the muscle bound, action packed guys are really kind of you know digging. I don't know.
Let's, let's just tell it like it is. Do you like roids and guns and team up movies? Uh, do you like caricatures of other people's performances? I say, I joke. I love the Expendables, Paul. I think it's one of those franchises that is more honest than most about what it's doing. And I think the first film started off with quite literally uh, thousands of bangs and really, really did set the scene for we're not taking this too seriously. You're here to enjoy an action movie. And by gosh, they are reincarnating the 80s and 90s, bits of the 70s and the 2000s action movies all in one big package for us to punch, kick, fight, death, shoot our way out of.
Yeah, like they've got some of the main characters are definitely like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sylvester Stallone plays essentially one of the main cast, which is then they've got Jason Statham, and a couple of other kind of which
Dolph
is
Lundgren's the big or the recurring kind of one since the start, I think.
yeah, like there's a few kind of recurring kind of main expendable cast that keep going on. Dolph Lundgren, which was but yeah. It's essentially giving the off the energy as the same Expendables, which is just a crazy kind of ensemble, kind of action packed.
Yeah,
This is a caricature of action films using very big tropes that were also there, like putting them into ridiculous situations in which no human should ever be able to get out of, but yet you know you just have more guns and you're fine. You know,
yeah,
there's a lot,
exactly.
there's a
And
lot
what,
of
what
plot
we're going to
armor.
do is, if you're into it, then you're going to love these other movies too, because they capture at least some of that spirit or some of those very specific things, sometimes with some of the same cast.
Yeah. So yeah, we're not breaking it down to not including some of the cast because Expendables have decided to just essentially go through the entire backlog of action heroes, so it'd be practically impossible. So let's jump right into it. Patrick, what's our number one?
Our first one up is The Losers, a little known movie that we did a rapid review on, which will be linked above. I like the way we've synchronized our above hand. And The Losers is one of those, it's based on a comic property, but it is very much team up, action. It's even Expendables insofar as there's a betrayal because you have to have your action and your betrayal, but it's about that group, that action hero group dynamic where there's different people with different skills, which is very much the Expendables.
Yes, very much like obviously you've got your gruff leader in Jeffrey Dean Morgan, which is your crazy ass hacker person, which is very funny to have essentially Chris Evans as the tech wizard, which goes.
That's a very
Um,
fit, very sexy tech wizard they got.
Yeah, Oscar Daneda as Cougar. He's the sniper, and which is Jason Patrick as Max. I'm not going to go through every single
Yeah.
character in every single movie, kind of thing. But yeah, it holds a lot of the same kind of energy as Expendables with being an ensemble cast. It's very crazy kind of thing. It does a lot of kind of tropes because it's based on a comic book series, so it gives off a lot of that energy.
Yeah. So, Paul, if I was getting ready to go and watch The Expendables, I would pick The Losers as one of the things to warm me up. If I just seen The Expendables and I was like, I want more of this, The Losers, again, great choice. Personally, I rate this movie very highly. That's why we did a whole separate episode on it. But I think it's a great one to open up our list of things that are like The Expendables.
Yeah, and number two, it's Predator, the first Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger and a whole host of muscle bound, like high fiving, grab. You meet someone in the woods and you grab them, kind of like uh,
If you can't flex a bicep when you're greeting a new friend, you don't deserve to be in an action movie. It's quintessential 80s, beautiful biceps.
yeah. So this movie is another ensemble movie, which just gives us the same energy as a lot of action packed kind of thing. It is from the '80s, kind of I guess the hallmark of the '80s action film kind of craziness, where a lot of the tropes that Expendables kind of lean on is kind of introduced. So yeah, Predators is a good one to kind of join, which is it doesn't have a betrayal this time really. Um,
Oh,
but
kind of does, but don't spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. But yeah, it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger,
yeah,
So it's got more than enough action cred, that's for sure. It is maybe a little bit more of a thoughtful film and a different genre than the Expendables in a lot of ways. Um, but you've definitely got that nice 80s big guns, big muscles, lots of testosterone, except it's just in a forest,
Yeah, against an alien creature.
which, as far as I know, the Expendables haven't done yet. But you never know. Dolph Lundgren could be back as an alien in the fifth one.
Yep.
I'm sure they're writing.
The fourth one could be them versus aliens. We could go Duke Nukem on everything.
It's very true.
So our third one, Patrick.
Our third is Universal Soldier, and this is funny because Universal Soldier is a movie that I hadn't realized was so overlooked by so many people. Because for me, it's quintessential. There was resurgence of action and a new style and a new way of doing it. Dolph Lundgren is in this movie, and he's in the Expendables. Jean-Claude Van Damme was in the Expendables, not as an expendable. Is that the right way of putting it? He wasn't on the team.
Yeah.
So you've got two big guys, two big action stars of the time. So it was a precursor to the Expendables and getting that idea of, you know what'll look great in a poster? Not one big action star, but two. It's Tango and Cash. It's, Universal Soldier. Also, because it's about these soldiers that are being brainwashed and controlled, etc. There's a lot of muscle and guns in this one too. So there's your betrayal. But yeah, it's a funky, cool movie, but it does give off that air of, we know what we're doing. Enjoy watching us fight and shoot, and at some point, the big action men are going to meet, and there'll be a punch.
Yeah, it definitely builds. Yeah, like it builds up essentially the showdown element of essentially Expendables has on a lot of its movies. So yeah, the Universal kind of showdown part is very, very good. But yeah, once again, it gives off that 80 kind of vibe, which just and kind of fits well in the energy of expendable kind of movies. Our fourth one is probably a bit of a weird one. It is.
I like that. I like this, Paul. I like you. I'm giving you credit for this, but I want to take credit also because it's nice and weird. I just haven't seen the damn thing.
Yeah, it's the 2014 Hercules film with which is The Rock and Dwayne Johnson as the as Hercules. It is an ensemble cast. It gives off the same energy because it is mental. Which goes it's essentially, yeah, it's about Hercules and his trials and his kind of war with him being hired and kind of the less, it's less kind of more or less fantastical and more kind of leveled in real life, as much as you can have a Hercules kind of character in real life. But yeah, it's got an ensemble cast as well, which is Ian McShane plays essentially his wise, which is helping fighting person, which is who wants to die. You also have John Hurt, who essentially plays the same character, but as Patrick says, doesn't hold a sword, which I thought was very good.
Yeah, I just thought it was amazing. I looked up the IMDb to get Ian McShane and John Hurt in a movie. I was like, surely they must just play the same character. And as Paul put it, yeah, but Ian McShane fights. But other than that, same character. So really interesting.
Yeah, so it's it gives off the same energy a lot, which goes it's a fun kind of action film, swords and sandals kind of action film, which is a little bit different on the rest of the kind of ones on our list. But it is kind of got a good kind of placement within the Expendables.
I'll be honest,
one.
That's what made it a hard sell. I was like, really, Hercules is like the Expendables, but where's the the claymores and the guns and the explosions? And once you kind of explained how off the wall this thing was, I'm like, that is some Expendables energy right there. So it sounds like it definitely fits on the list. And now I'm going to go and watch it. I had no interest in this thing before right now, but now I'm going to go and watch it.
It's so weird. Like, because I keep getting this, because I also keep getting it mixed up with which is Jason Momoa's Conan the Barbarian, which is also off the wall, but doesn't give the same energy because it takes itself too seriously, I think. Because that's another part of these.
Yeah, they both play into the Arnold Schwarzenegger original idea. So, like, if you're taking on Schwarzenegger roles, then you really are spiritually part of the Expendables anyway.
Very true. And yeah, but yeah, the Conan one takes too much of itself seriously, which I guess is another part of the energy that the Expendables gives off. It knows exactly what it's doing, and a couple of the other ones on this list definitely know what it's doing as well. So they just said enjoy themselves. And our fifth one, Patrick.
That's what you want.
Our
Our fifth one is Red. Red, retired and extremely dangerous, which again has an expendable person, an expendable member in it. Bruce Willis. You can't have Bruce Willis action movies, or you can't have action movies without talking about Bruce Willis. Anyway, thanks to Die Hard. But the reason I think Red fits the bill is because it is that big ensemble thing again of these are all these assassins getting together, meeting up, going through their adventure. Red and Red 2, again, people teaming up. Unlikely team ups in some ways. Some people coming out of retirement, very expendably energy. Lots of guns, less of the maybe visible bicep, less of the roid and testosterone to it all.
Yeah.
But still, I think Red's got the. If you're digging the Expendables, I think Red has enough of that vibe to it too.
Very much so, yeah. Doesn't take itself too seriously. It is based on another comic book, I think, series as well. Yeah, no, which it so yeah, Red is a it got a lot of energy that the Expendables has. Kooky kind of crazy kind of ness. It also takes a lot of the kind of like instead of taking more of the kind of serious like or up straight action kind of tropes that comes. It kind of comes with a little bit more of the espionage kind of ones. Like especially since it has an outside perspective of a character that's meant to or help the audience involved. It's got a cool kind of like secret passwords and phrases and gadgets and gadgets and hidden places and stupid places and stuff. So it's another one of the ones that gives off the same energy as the Expendables.
Very much so. And Paul, one honorable mention before we close it all out, then, because we've given people 5 very understandably expendably movies. I can't believe I'm a grown up saying the word expendably like it's serious. But what's the honorable mention, Paul?
Yeah, so our honorable mention after our list of 5 is Street Fighter with John Claude Van Damme as essentially the main character as Guile, which goes and Raul Giuliani who is the and Bison. Yeah, this film is kind of crazy off the wall ensemble kind of fighters. It isn't a caricature of like action films and action, I guess, personas in the same way as Expendables is, but they actually are caricatures of like Street Fighter characters. But it gives off the same kind of actiony energy, which is like there's a lot of kind of plot holes. There's weird kind of like weird comedy kind of parts to it as well. It doesn't take itself so seriously in parts, which goes, but it's a fun movie. It's a fun action movie to watch.
I'm not going to lie. I thought, again, like Hercules, I thought you were smoking something when you said Street Fighter, but my brain instantly put all the dots together. Street Fighter, the game itself, was a caricature of a lot of different action heroes anyway. And then when they made the movie, they kind of almost caricatured the game. It's very much Expendables energy when you think about it. So it's a great, weird, honorable mention. I love it.
So while you're waiting for watching the Expendables 4, you can watch our list, which is and enjoy the films. And before you go watch the Expendables 4, if there's any other ones that you think give any other action films that you think give off the same energy as the Expendables 4, why don't you put them down in the comments down below? Which is let us know about our list if you like it or not, kind of thing. And yeah, enjoy Expendables 4.
Enjoy Expendables and Expendable style movies, folks. And on that note, I've been Patrick.
And I've been Paul.
We've been Heroes Out. We'll see you next time.